Stampers, welcome to the craft room and another episode of Card Play. Today I'd like to show you how to make this very simple, easy, and impactful card using a bleach pen. So let's get started. You're going to need your Medallion stamp. You're also going to need some bleach. I find it easiest and very transportable to use this Clorox bleach pen. And I'm using just a lid, a yogurt lid actually. You can use a paper plate, and you'll need a foam brush. The other thing that we're going to use is a piece of soft suede cardstock. This piece is 3.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And you're just going to take your bleach pen and shake it up a little bit. And you're going to pour out a little bit. I don't pour out a lot. And you may want to work in a well-ventilated area since this does smell like bleach. And we're just going to pounce our foam brush here in the bleach. And then I find it best not to brush it on, but to actually kind of pounce it on, almost as if you were stenciling, kind of that same pouncing motion. If you brush it on, you tend to get streaks in your bleach when you do your stamping. So I like to just kind of pounce it on. And we don't have to cover the whole stamp since this is a smaller piece of cardstock. And then all we're going to do is take our piece of cardstock, we're going to lay it down right on that stamp, and then I like to use a scrap piece of paper and put it over so that I can really press down on this and mush it around without moving the cardstock and also without getting bleach all over my fingers. So I'm going to press down a bit, and then when you feel like you've gotten all of the areas pressed down, you can remove your scrap paper, and then you're going to pull up your cardstock. And you'll see that this is a great color to use. Different colors are going to have different effects. I know the soft suede works really well. On black, you probably won't get much of any effect, so you really just have to play around and see which color you like. Because what the bleach does is it actually lifts the color from the cardstock. It also may lift a little bit of the fiber of the cardstock, and that gives it a really nice kind of vintagey look. And then you're going to want to set this aside to let it dry. I actually have another piece here that has dried, and you can see it gets brighter as it dries. And then all we're going to do is take this piece and we're going to adhere it to a piece of basic black cardstock. This piece is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4, and I'm just going to use some Tombow Mono multi glue to do that. And I use very little glue, which is incredibly economical. And then we're just going to adhere that panel down. Great. And then we're going to take a piece of So Saffron cardstock. This is going to be our card base. This piece is 5.5 by 8.5, and I just scored it in the middle and folded it in half. And we're going to go ahead and adhere that panel to the center of that card base, again using the Tombow Mono multi-adhesive. If you wanted a little bit of pop, you could go ahead and adhere this using your dimensionals. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is create our greeting. Let me set this aside. And to make our greeting, I'm using a small piece of very vanilla cardstock, and this piece is 3/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm also going to take this Kind Thanks stamp, which is from the Thank You Kindly stamp set, and my StazOn Jet Black ink. And we're just going to ink up that stamp and stamp it as close to the center as we can get it. Great. And then we're going to turn this into a little bit of a banner. So I'm going to grab my scoring tool. You can use whatever scoring tool you happen to have. This is the one that I happen to have right now. And you're just going to take your bone folder, and what I like to do is kind of see where my greeting lines up and kind of move 1 space, 2 spaces over, and kind of 2 spaces over here to get it as centered as you can. And then we're going to move another 2/8 over and make another score line. Okay, And then we're going to move our scoring board away. And now what we're going to do is fold. If I'm holding this towards you like this, I'm folding away from me with these first score lines, and then I'm folding toward me with these second scored lines. And that's creating that banner effect. And you can use your bone folder to just go ahead and kind of crease those lines just a little bit more if you'd like. And then you'll see this side's a little bit longer. That's no problem because we're going to use our paper snips to go ahead and cut these ends. So I'm just going to cut in the middle and then come in from the side to that point. And then this one I'm just going to cut down a little bit first before I go ahead and cut in. And if you wanted to measure this specifically or very exactly, you can, but you can see I don't do that. And then what we're going to do is bring our card back, make sure that that fits nicely. It does. I like it. And then how I'm going to adhere this, again, you can do this as many different ways as you like. How I'm going to adhere this is I'm just going to put a couple of dimensionals right in the center, one right on top of the other. And then I'm just going to place a tiny bit of glue here on each of these little ends. And then we're just going to figure out where we'd like it. I like it a little bit lower so that I could see that part of the medallion stamp. And we are going to adhere that down. And there you have it, a really simple card with a very fun and impactful technique. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Card Play, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon here in the craft room.